It's a new era for the former Fort George Park, as it is now known as Lheidli Memorial Park, in honor of the people who have always lived at the edge of the Fraser and the Chaco rivers. City Councilor and Prince George 100 Anniversary Committee member Murray Krause feels like the name change needed to happen for 2015.
I said to the committee, this may not be a celebration for everybody, so we need to have conversations with the Lheidli T'enneh. So immediately we embarked on having those conversations. I didn't for a moment think at that juncture we'd be changing the name of the park, but throughout their conversations with the Lheidli, they said, wouldn't it be nice to change the name of the park back to something that would acknowledge that was the Lheidli village.
And this momentous name change is giving people in the city a chance to learn about the history of the former village a century later.
For a very long time, this was a village and where people lived and had children and got married and lived their lives. And then in about 1912, in that area, there was a movement to move the Lheidli out of this area so development could happen.
With some misunderstanding and communication barriers, the city developers and the villagers didn't agree on a payout.
My understanding is the Lheidli were not in the village one evening when some people came in and burned up part of the village and then warned the community that the rest of the people didn't move. If they didn't move, the rest of the village would be burned down. So the Lheidli felt they had no recourse but to move to what is Reserve Number 2, which is out in the Shelley area.
With many residents not knowing the history, leaders like Lheidli Chief Dominic Frederick are happy to be spreading awareness.
I think a lot of people don't understand that, or they don't know. It's not being ignorant. I don't call them ignorant. They just don't know. They don't know what happened.
And actually, it was hard for some people to believe that something like that had happened. The conversations ended up being about the fact that maybe this is an opportunity for people to learn more about our history, about our shared history, and how we can move forward. So again, in terms of people coming in sort of challenged and upset often, is it turned into a conversation about what the future might hold.
With eyes from across the country watching the movement roll out, Councillor Krause believes we should all be proud with the reconciliation beginning to trickle into our city.
Prince George is leading the way, and we really can pat ourselves on the back about doing something really significant. We can't change the past. We sure can be responsible for what happens today and as we move forward.
For Go Prince George, I'm Casey Pitts.